Today we will learn about conditional statements. So what are conditional statements? Like when you write some code, you want to perform different actions for different decisions. Okay, so you can use conditional statements for that. Suppose I want like if number should be less than 30, so I want to perform this code. If number should be less than 20, I want to perform this code. Okay, so like this you can use different codes for different conditions. Okay, so we will use that now. Okay, so we'll make another file. Now we'll change the path here, index8.js. So our topic will be conditional statements. So what are the conditional statements? Okay, so four conditional statements are there. One is first is if, second is else, third is else if, fourth is switch. Okay, so these are four conditional statements. We will learn one by one. So we will start with our if statement. So now we will take a variable. Suppose we'll use a num variable. So we'll use any 32. Okay, so we are choosing any number over here. Okay, so we want to perform some like so perform some operation means some statements. Okay, suppose we want like if the number is less than 32, so perform this task. If the number is greater than 32, perform this task. Okay, so we'll do it like this. So we'll use if this num variable over here is less than 23. Okay, so you can mention any number over here. I'm just using a random if condition. So like return, suppose over here I will use any string smaller number. Okay, okay, so what we are doing is if the number is less than 23, use this, return this string over here. Okay, so here we are taking will take smaller number over here. Okay, so if number is smaller than 23, return this number over here. Okay, we'll save it. So here we haven't got. Okay, so we are not printing it actually, we are just returning it. So we have to use a document.getElement by id. I'm sorry. So we'll output it in this paragraph over here. Dot inner HTML equals to. So we'll use a variable over here. Okay, we'll just use random variable that is like any message msg equals to smaller number. So we can remove this parenthesis here. So we are printing this message over here. So we can output this message msg variable over here in our paragraph. Okay, now let's check what is coming over here. So it is coming smaller number. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are giving a condition if the number, that is this one over here. Okay, if the number is less than 12, print this string over here. Okay, and we are storing this string in this msg variable and we are printing that in our paragraph here. Okay, suppose if the number is greater, okay, suppose 56, now what will happen? Okay, let's see. So it is coming undefined because we haven't provided another condition, means that when the number will be greater than 23, what will happen? So it is coming undefined. Okay, so for that we'll use this else statement over here. Okay, now suppose here we'll use else statement like this. Else, suppose variable msg 1 equals to, sorry, I'll store it in the same greater number. Okay, so we are storing this, so we can use this as global variable we can use here. Okay, so when we are using variable two times with the same variable, we can use it globally here, variable msg, and we can remove this variable over here and from here. Now we are initializing this variable globally. Okay, so take this message will take it as a variable. Okay, so let's check what will happen. Now we'll refresh. So it is coming now greater number, because here we are providing a number greater than 23. Okay, so this block of code is not satisfied. This else block of code, if block of code is not satisfied, so this else block of code is running over here. Okay, so this is the if else block. Okay, now we can also use math dot random, suppose. Okay, so it is giving us the values between 0 and 1. Okay, so here we'll use 0.4. Okay, so if it is 0 less than 0.4, so here the number will be generated in a random manner. Okay, so we'll comment these out. So here we will generate the number random in a random way. So if it is less than 0.4, the message will come as smaller number. If it is greater than 4, the number will come as greater number. So let's save it. Now it is coming greater number. So we'll refresh it. Now it is coming smaller number. So the number is generated in a random way. Okay, it is not fixed over here. So greater, smaller, greater, greater, smaller. So this number is coming in a random way. Okay, now we can also use else if. Okay, now we will use our else if condition. Okay, so what it does is it comes between these if else block. Okay, here it is coming. Here we'll write else if. Okay, like just a minute. Here we are providing, so like this. Okay, so we have to provide a condition over here. What will be the else if condition over here? Okay, so suppose we'll comment this out, and here we'll use our num variable. Okay, so here we'll use if the number should be less than 24. Okay, the number should be greater than 24 and less than 56. Okay, so if the number will be in between 25 to 55, the message should be like any message number in between. Okay. So here what we are doing is, if the number will, here I will change, the number is less than 24. Okay. So here I will just do it like this. So here what we are doing is, if the number is less than 24, print a smaller number. If the number is in between 24 to 56, print number in between. Else what, anything that comes, it will not satisfy. If it is not satisfied by these two conditions, print this over here. Okay, so here we'll first use a smaller number over here. that is, this condition will be satisfied over here. So it is less than 24. Okay, so let's see our result. So it is coming smaller number. Okay, because this 24 is smaller than this 12 is smaller than 24. So it is printing this number over here. Okay, now we'll satisfy the if we'll provide a number that will satisfy the second condition. Okay, so we'll provide a 43. Suppose we will save it and we'll check what is coming. So it is coming number in between because it is satisfying this condition over here. So it will print this message over here. Okay, the condition is the number should be greater than 24 and less than 56. Okay, so this number is in between these two numbers. So this block of code is run. Okay, if these two conditions are not satisfied, here JavaScript is telling to run this block of code. Okay, so here I will use 67 over here. So it will not satisfy this, it will not satisfy this condition over here. So it will run this block of code over here. Okay, so let's see. Just a minute. We will change some like condition over here. So here we are getting number should be if number should be less than 24. So automatically it is taking this condition over here. Okay, so we are repeating it 2 times. So we'll just neglect this. So number, if number is less than 24, print this smaller number. If number is less than 56, number in between. If the number is greater, means if both the conditions are not satisfied, print this greater number message over here. Okay, so we have given a 67 over here. So it will not satisfy both the conditions because it is greater than 24 and it is also greater than 56. So both the conditions are not satisfied. So it should print this greater number over here. Okay, so we'll save it and we'll check. So it is giving us the greater number over here. Okay, so these three are like brothers and sisters to each other. Okay, so if and else, so these are like relatives. Okay, they are also relative to each other. Okay, so when we use if, there is the most probability is you will use else. Okay, if you have a long piece of code, so you have to use else if. Okay, so these three are always used. Okay, now we will use our switch case. Okay, this switch statement over here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just comment these codes over here. Okay, so how switch is used. Okay, so in switch case, uh, like many various cases are present. Okay, we have to provide some cases. If that case is satisfied, then run that piece of block of code that is inside that case. Okay, so it is similar to if else. Okay, but the difference is here we are providing cases. Okay, various cases. If that case is satisfied, so run that block of code that is inside that case. Okay, so how we'll do is we'll just use our switch here. Okay, and inside this we'll generate our random date. Okay, so suppose we'll use our new date and we'll use the day. Okay, day means like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so we'll use our get day over here. Okay, so here you can see we are using new date dot get day, and now we will put a curly brace over here. Now here we'll provide our cases. Okay, so always remember when we are fetching out the days, okay, it always comes in 0, 1, 2, 3 format. Okay, means Sunday is 0, here Sunday equals to 0, Mondays equals to 1, Tuesday equals to 3, and so on. Okay, sorry. So like this. Okay, so here you can see we have cases like this. Okay, so we have case 0 as Sunday, case 1 as Monday, case 3 as case 2, sorry, my mistake. So here we'll use that cases. Okay, so we'll use as case 0 first, and then we'll provide a colon over here, and now inside this we'll use a variable over here, that is day. Okay, so we'll use it globally, day equals to Sunday over here. So we'll provide a global variable over here, variable day. Okay, because we'll use various times this variable over here, so we are using it globally over here. Okay, after every case after every case is finished, always use a break statement over here. Okay, so it is compulsory. So what we are doing is, here we are switching. Suppose we'll make various cases. We'll use indentation to understand it clearly. Okay, so we'll use our case 1 over here, case 2, and we'll rename it to Monday, Tuesday. Okay, like this. Okay, so what we are doing here is, we are fetching out the day, okay, from the date. Okay, with the help of get day. Okay, so you have studied it earlier, but you are using it in your regular day to day practice. Okay, so you have to keep in mind, always use previous used cases, previous used methods in, like in your practice. Okay, so you can remember. So here we are fetching out the day from the date, and here we are mentioning the cases. Okay, in the first case, that is 0, we are assuming the day as Sunday over here, and then we are providing a break statement over here. Then we are using the next statement, that is the case 1. So we are using second case, day Monday over here. Then we are breaking the statement. Then we are using case 2. Then we are using the day as Tuesday, and then we are providing break statement over here. So here we are using break statement in every line. So what it does is, it breaks out from the switch block. Okay, so it breaks out from the switch block. Okay, so means it will stop the execution of that block. Okay, so it will switch to next case over here. Okay, so let's check. So we'll use our day over here, and let's check what is the result. Okay, so we'll use some more. Here we'll use all the cases over here. Case 2. Okay, sorry. We'll use, copy paste it. One, two, three. Just a minute. 3, 4, 5, and 6 over here. Okay, we'll remove this over here. Now we'll use Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay, so we are providing all the weekdays over here. Now let's check what is the result. So here we are getting Friday, because today's day is Friday. So today's date is Friday, so it is coming as Friday over here. Okay, if the day was Wednesday, it will show us Wednesday over here. Okay, so what we are doing here is, so I haven't used the default case over here. So in the last case, always provide a default statement over here. Okay, default means these conditions if these conditions are not satisfied, always this case will run over here. Okay, so here you can see, here I will use, suppose, sorry, day equals to anything, random day. Okay, so here if I remove this over here, this case over here, suppose I will comment out. Okay, because we are getting Friday, so we are removing this, so it will not satisfy this whole condition here, so it will break and come to this default case over here. Okay, so we'll save it and let's see what is the result. So it is coming as random day. Okay, so why we are doing this? If these conditions, all the conditions are not satisfied, then provide us this default case over here. Okay, so here we are commenting this case 5 because we are knowing that this result is coming. Okay, so in another cases you will not know what is the result, so you have to provide a default case over here. Okay, so if these conditions are not satisfied, provide me this case string over here. Okay, so like this you can use the switch. So I will once again repeat what is happening over here. So here we are using our switch statement, switch case, and now inside that we are using the default date method that we have studied earlier, and we are fetching the day, means the fetching the today's date. Okay, so it is the day is coming in this format 0 1 2. Okay, so here what is the result? So it can be either 0 1 or 2. Okay, so that comes under this case over here. Okay, so the result that will come inside this block of code, it will be used here. Okay, if this case is satisfied, so run this block of code over here and then break through that, like if this condition is satisfied, break that particular execution. Okay, and switch to another. If it is not satisfied, break to another statement. Okay, if it is satisfied, break through this switch statement. Okay, so we are providing this break over here, so you can use various cases, as many cases as you want. Okay, and always use this default. If you can also use default here inside, instead of, like, here we can also use. Okay, but always keep in mind that always when you are using default case in the first, like first place, always use here in the last case, always use break. Okay, here you can suppose, if you are using default in the first case, so you have to provide a break statement over here. Okay, so if you are providing it in the first place, so you have to use this break statement. Okay, so if you are using in the last case, you don't have to provide the break statement over here. Okay, so you can neglect that. Okay, in the last place you don't need to use the break statement. Okay, if suppose here I will just undo it. Okay, if the default case is here, so you have to use this break. So here you can, this is the last case, you don't have to necessarily use this break statement over here. In the last case, it is not necessary to use break statement. Okay, so in the middle of the cases, it is compulsory it is necessary to use the break statement. So we have covered all of our conditional statements: if, else if, switch. So we have covered all our conditional statements. Now we'll move to our next topic, that is loops. Okay, so you have used a for loop. Okay, so various kinds of loops are there, only for loop is not there. Okay, so we'll go in detail for that. So we'll make another file over here and we'll change the path index 9, close all these, close all this. So here we'll mention our topic as loops. Okay, so various kinds of loops are there. Okay, first is for loop, that you know. Okay, second is for in loop. Okay, so we are writing like this. In the code we will not write like this. Okay, just we are like for your understanding I'm just writing like for in loop. Okay, it is considered as for in loop. For off loop, then while loop, you have heard of while loop. Okay, then do while loop. Okay, so these are the 5 loops that will go in detail. Okay, so first we'll use our for loop. So what we'll do here is we will use like we'll start our for loop over here. Okay, so for looping we need some array. Okay, so we'll make some array over here. Suppose we'll take names over here. Names equals to, we'll take any name, Ankit, Shikha, Ankita, Rohit. Okay, so these are the names and we have stored this array in this variable. So we will loop through this array. Okay, so we will start our for loop over here. So we'll use I variable and we will initialize it with 0 over here. Now we will use I should be less than this length over here. Okay, so it is of 1 2 3 4. Okay, so indexing starts from 0. So 0 1 2 3. So it should not go forward to 3. Okay, so here we'll use I should be less than 4. So it will count till 3 only. And now we'll use increment the loop. Okay, and now here curly braces. So inside this we will perform our code. Okay, so what we want is we want to output this code like we want to add this code in an empty string. Okay, so we'll initialize a variable over here, variable text. You can use any other name. I will take text over here and we are giving an empty string into this text over here. Okay, now what we will do is we will use text and we will add this variable, we'll add this text and we'll loop through all the names. Okay, so here we want to add the names. Okay, so we'll use names and we'll use, because it is an array, so we have to access the value. Okay, so we are looping through every value over here. Okay, so we are looping through I. Okay, so if the loop is in Ankit, so the first position is 0. So here the I will change to 0. Okay, here I have given 4, so will not manually do it. Here we can count the length. Okay, but in some professional projects, you will not, the length will be, this is not the professional method. Okay, so always use the length property over here. Okay, so the names dot length property over here. So always use this approach over here. Okay, now we are using names dot length, means that it should always be less than this length over here. Okay, so the length is 4 over here, so we'll go to 3. Okay, so the always the index position, index length is always 1 less than the position length. Okay, means the position starts from 1 and the index counting starts from 0. So position will go till 4 and the index position will go till 3. Okay, so it is always less than, it is always 1 less than the index position, the, sorry, the position, actually the C. Here the index starts from 0 onwards. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, like this, but the position starts from, the length starts from 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, so here we are writing 4 letters and it is till 3, and here we are writing 4 letters but it is counting till 4. Okay, so here position, when we take the length, here it is coming 4, but when we count, when here we can see we are starting from 0 over here. If we give 1, so it will, we have to give here equals to. Okay, because we are counting from 1 and we have to count till 4 over here, so 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we have to give equal sign over here. Okay, so always starts from, so here we are starting from 0, so we don't have to use equals to sign over here. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are doing here is we are adding the text, this empty string, to this names I, means this value. Why we are giving this I? Because for fetching the array values we have to use this names and the index position over here. Okay, so this I is the index position. Suppose the loop is in the first index position, so it will give 0th index position, so it will give 0, and here the name will be Ankit. Okay, so it will give the value as Ankit. Okay, so it will use like this. So here when we loop through it, so it will, suppose here we'll get our, here it is empty string. Okay, so we'll use an empty string over here, and it is suppose adding Ankit. Okay, so we are not saving it anywhere. Okay, so we'll save, suppose here we will save it to another str, suppose variable str. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are adding it and we are saving it into this string over here. Okay, so str equals to this, like this. Okay, so we'll comment this whole piece of code. So we are looping through first Ankit and we are saving it to str. Okay, then another loop will go. Now Shikha will be in the loop. Okay, so this I will target this Shikha over here. Okay, so it will save the value as Ankit plus Shikha over here. Okay, so now two values are saved in this str. So like the loop will go on. Okay, till this condition is satisfied. Okay, so till it go on to till the length 4. Okay, so every, after every loop, this loop will add one name onto this str. Okay, so here first it is the names, Ankit name will be added. Second, the Shikha will be added. Okay, so like this, after every loop, here first Ankit, then Shikha, then Ankita, then Rohit. all the names will be added and saved to str variable. Okay, now we'll output this inside our paragraph. Okay, para dot inner html equals to str. Okay, so what we are doing here is we'll comment these out. Okay, so we are looping through this array by using the for loop over here. Okay, we'll save it and let's see what is the result. So here you can see, just a minute, only Rohit is coming. So here you can see the result is coming as Rohit, because what we have done here is we have taken the text over here. Okay, so it is taking first from beginning. We'll start. Okay, so here the str is completely empty. Okay, we haven't assigned anything over here. So we will take an empty string over here and then our names means the first name Ankit. Okay, so we are taking this Ankit over here. Okay, now in the second loop what we are doing here is we are taking str equals to, so this Ankit over here is stored in this str over here. Okay, but this text over here is always empty. Okay, so we are adding now Shikha. Okay, so we are storing now Shikha. So here in the str Ankit is stored. Okay, okay, so here now str we are assigning the str as Shikha, so it will change to Shikha over here. Okay, now in the third case again this is empty. Here the text is empty. Now we are adding Ankita. Okay, so we are adding Ankita to this str. So previously Shikha was stored in this str. Now we are storing Ankita, so it will replace Shikha and store Ankita. In the next loop it will do is it will follow the same rule. It will store Rohit over here and neglect this Ankita over here and store the Rohit. Okay, so now we have the value as Rohit. Okay, so we are printing that Rohit inside this paragraph over here. So the result is coming as Rohit. So what we have to do is, in order to store all the results, we have to store inside this string over here. Okay, we have to, suppose we are looping through every names, so we have to take this Ankit over here and store inside this empty string over here, so that in the next step this Ankit is stored somewhere. Okay, so what we'll do is we will assign the same name over here. Okay, so now it will do is we'll replace this over here. So it will take str now and it will take an empty string over here and it will add Ankit over here. Okay, in the next step what it will do is str. So inside this str now we are adding Ankit over here. Sorry, it is txt. Okay, so inside txt we are adding Ankit over here. Okay, so you can see here we have this text over here and this Ankit over here. So we are adding this value inside this text. Okay, so the now this text has changed to Ankit. Okay, suppose here it is now added as Ankit over here, and now it is completely empty, and now it is taking as Shikha. Okay, so now it will add Shikha to this empty string and it will now be saved to this text. Okay, so we are saving the names to this text first, and the same text is this only. Okay, so it is kind of looping through and adding all the names in the text variable. Okay, so now in the next step, sorry, in the next step, what it will do is it will store Ankit plus Shikha. Okay, and now it will perform its third loop and it will give as Ankita. Okay, like this it will go on loop through every name and store that name inside this text variable over here. Okay, and then what we'll do is now we will output this text over here and see the result. Okay, now we'll refresh. So here you can see all names are coming because we are looping through every element and storing the value inside this text variable. Okay, so you can also make it pretty kind of, we'll use br tag over here to put it in next line. Okay, so here we are putting a br tag to put it in a next line. Okay, so like this you can do a for loop. Okay, so you have to go, like you have to save every text, every name inside this text, and it is stored inside this text. Now then another loop will be performed. Okay, so here you can see we are adding both these. Okay, so it is empty string, it is Ankit. Okay, so it is stored inside this text variable over here. This is also a text. Okay, so we are adding this to these two. Okay, so here the text is now Ankit. Okay, sorry, here I've told you in a wrong way. Okay, not understand like this, so I'll do it. Here we have taken text, then an empty string because text is now empty over here, and then we are adding name Ankit over here. Okay, so we are adding this Ankit into this empty string and we are storing it into text variable. Okay, so in the next loop we'll use text. Okay, so we have stored Ankit inside this text over here, so this string is not empty over here, it has Ankit over here. Okay, and now we are adding Shikha. Okay, now this text holds Ankit and Shikha. Okay, so in the next loop it will hold Ankit and Shikha over here. Okay, because we are adding these two values and storing it in the text variable. Now the text is inside the text variable. These two values are stored. Okay, now comes Ankita. Okay, so here the third is Ankita over here. Okay, so now the text has these three values. Okay, so we will use the text equals to, now it has four values Ankit, sorry, three values Ankit, Shikha and Ankita. Okay, so these three values are stored inside the text variable. So this text variable has these three values. Now we will store Rohit inside this text variable. Okay, so we are adding this text variable inside this text. Okay, so it is the last method because we are going through four stages. Okay, so the loop will stop. Okay, because it is telling us this is the zero position, this is the first position, this is the two position, this is the third position. Okay, so the name sort length is I is less than 4 over here. Okay, I is less than 4 means it should go till 3 only. Okay, so 0 1 2 3. Okay, and stop the for loop. Okay, now we'll use this text over here and it will like come out of the for loop and stop the execution. Okay, so here we are getting this text as these four values. Okay, so like this every for loop is inside every for loop the execution starts and stops. Okay, So this is the way. Okay, in this way we are adding like we are adding the names inside the text variable. Okay. Okay, you can also write it in a shorter way, like you don't have to use this text two times. You can just use text plus equals to, sorry, so it is showing us error because we have mentioned variable two times over here. So now it is correct. Okay, so in this way you can write, okay, means text equals to text plus name side. So you can, when you are using for loop, write, follow this format over here. Okay, so what it is doing is it is like following the for loop, okay, going through every name and adding the names to this text variable, and the result is the text variable itself. Okay, it is storing the uh, storing all the names in the text variable. Okay, so your for loop is completed. Now we will move forward to our for in loop. For in loop is used to loop through the properties of an object. Okay, so we have seen an object how it is written. Suppose here we can see variable cars. Okay, so sorry. Here I'll use a variable person equals to, we'll use a f name means first name. We'll use a property over here Ankit. Just a minute. Ankit. Next property I'll use L name, that is Sharma. So an object has key value pairs like this. Okay, so this is the key and this is the value over here. Next I will provide a property of age 23 over here. Okay, sorry, this is not a string over here, age 23. Okay, so this is the format of writing an object. Okay, so for in loop is used to loop through these properties over here. Okay, to extract out the properties after looping. Okay, here we'll give our for in loop. Okay, so now we'll use our for in loop. So how can we loop through this object over here? Okay, so we will use for loop, and what we'll use is we'll use a variable over here. Okay, suppose any variable x, suppose, so we'll use x. X is like it will loop through every key pairs. Okay, like x is here, like this f name, L name, age. Okay, so it will loop through every key pair. Okay, so x in we have to loop inside the person, so we'll use person over here, and now we'll use our curly braces. So inside this we want to use our block of code, so it will be same like this. Okay, so we will use, we'll initialize our text variable over here, an empty text variable, and we'll output the result inside this text variable. So we'll use the same format over here, text plus equals to. So how can we have to fetch this value over here. So how do we fetch a value from an object? Okay, so we use person dot its property. Suppose here you can see f name, L name, and age. Okay, so person is the object and these are the properties. Okay, suppose here we will use person dot f name. Okay, so what it will give is its value it will give. Okay, here it will give us Ankit. Okay, so in this way we can fetch the value of an object. So we'll use the same format over here. Okay, so we will use person, okay, and dot I over here. Okay, this is the format also this is also the format, or this is also the format. In this way we can also, suppose here we can also use this array method. Okay, inside this f name, okay, we can also access like this all. Okay, so here what we'll do is we'll follow that array method over here. We'll use provide x over here because we are looping through every property with the help of this x over here. Okay, so here we'll use our this line of code over here and we'll paste over here. Okay, so what we are doing here is with the help of this x we are looping through every property of this object. Okay, and we are saving it inside this text over here. Okay, we'll use a break over here, br tag over here. So we are targeting the the person over here, and the property means, suppose first property is f name, so it will target the f name, then it will loop to l name. Okay, so the x changes to l name, so here will be l name, so its value it will give. Okay, so let's suppose save it. Here I will comment this out, this over here, and we'll save it. Okay, and let's see what is the result. So here you can see Ankit Sharma and 23. Okay, so we are getting our values in the next time because here we are using the br tag. So we are looping through every object. Okay, every object property over here. Okay, so with the help of for in loop we can loop through object properties. Okay, so we have learned two loops over here, for loop and for in loop. For loop for looping through every arrays over here, and for in loop is basically used to loop through object properties over here. Okay, so object is written like this and we have to loop through every properties over here. Okay, and how can we fetch the property values, property pay? Okay, so here we can use it like this. Okay, person and the I means, sorry, here we are using x over here. Okay, so we will loop through every property and fetch out the values of that property names. Okay, so in today we will cover these two loops. In the next lecture we will cover these three loops. Okay.